first couple to arrive at the neighborhood ball.
Inauguration day full of events. 10, count them, 10 official inaugural balls.
That night in Washington,
It's the official ones, a lot of them.
The first ever neighborhood ball, open to the public.
as the president celebrated, he had no idea that across town, new battle lines were being drawn. A group of Republicans quietly gathered to develop plans for taking on the new president.
A meeting, a dinner took place in the famous steakhouse in downtown Washington with Newt Gingrich as sort of the MC, as it were.
The thing I found disturbing this week was the gap.
At the gathering of top GOP luminaries, conservative Congressman Eric Cantor, Kevin McCarthy, Paul Ryan, Senate power brokers Jim DeMint, Jon Kyle, Tom Coburn, and event organizer Frank Luntz.
The room was filled. It was a who's who of ranking members who had at one point been committee chairman or in the majority, who now wondered out loud whether they were in the permanent minority.
Many of them had attended Obama's inauguration. They had seen that breathtaking spectacle of 1.5 million people on the Mall, and it felt like a wholesale repudiation of the Republican Party.
They walked into that dining room as depressed as I've seen any elected members of Congress. They lost every Senate seat they could lose. They lost all these House seats. The numbers were so great that they thought that they weren't coming back again, not for an election or two, but maybe a generation or two.
They came and went. But as the night wore on, those who stayed began to talk about the future.
3 hours, some of the brightest minds in the Republican Party debated how to be relevant.
The point I made was that we had to be prepared in the tradition of Wooden at UCLA to run a full court press. And we had to see how Obama behaved and to offer an alternative to what he wanted to do.
The Republicans agreed on a tough new strategy: to block the president, fight his agenda.
He could be defeated partly by his own ideology and by his own behaviors.
The feeling was that if that group could cooperate and if that group could lead, that the wilderness might not be a generation away.
By the end of the evening, you began to reorient and realize, wait a second, you got Nancy Pelosi as an opponent. You got, you have a clear choice of ideologies. We have a tremendous amount of hard work to do, but it's doable.
They all talked about this, and they began to get more and more optimistic, and they left feeling practically exuberant.